I've got my bolster here. I'm going to keep the video at that distance because I will move up to standing. But as I say, I've got my bolster, but you can use 2 bricks piled up and maybe a cushion if it's really uncomfortable, and sit on them and then kneel, and you'll find there's not the pressure on your knees or on your ankles if you don't want that pressure. It's quite nice to open your ankles for a change rather than sitting in Sukhasana. But if you want to sit in Sukhasana or any other way, then always please do make yourself comfortable. For the breath practice, you have to be comfortable wherever you are, because otherwise other parts of you will be taking your attention and you won't be really able to focus on what we're doing. So our last class of stop, look and listen this morning. So we're going to take our breath practices varying from eyes open to eye closed this morning. Some of it will be natural breath, some of it will be controlling the breath. Some of it is an optional. What I'll say is stop after the exhale, so it would be in 4, X 4, stop for a count of 2. I don't mean stop the breath completely, I mean that soft pause that you have at the end of either your inhale or your exhale. You just extend it slightly, that little pause between the two when you change it up. So if you don't like that retention sort of feeling, that pause feeling, just continue to breathe normally at that point. Or what I suggest would be inhale for 4 and exhale for 6. So rather than doing a hold for 2 or a stop for 2, as we're thinking of it this morning, we would exhale for 6 there. But I'll let you know when that's time, and now you know you've got that choice. Okay, so eyes open and just watch your natural breath for 3 or 4 breaths here. Eyes open though. Naturally, I went to close mine because breath practice to me is closed eyes. But try and keep your eyes open and see if you can watch what's going on in your breath with your eyes open. It's much more difficult, much more distracting with your eyes open. It's a little bit like what I was saying about sitting in the right position. So now close your eyes. And immediately you probably are able to start centering inwards and watch your breath. And then just to add to that, now that you've connected to the breath, start to control the breath and take 3 breaths, inhale for 4, exhale for 4 in your own time. Just looking and focusing at the breath with eyes closed. And then let go of the breath when you finish your next exhale. The count doesn't matter so much, we'll just finish when we finish. Open your eyes again, and this time, natural breath, no control. Try to listen to your breath. So there may not really be much sound because we're not doing Ujjayi or anything at this moment. Maybe you can feel the vibration in the back of your throat, or maybe you can sense it through your nostrils, that sort of gentle noise of your breath. But with eyes open, see if you can actually find the sound of your breath. And then close your eyes. And natural breath again, just listen for 2 or 3 breaths. See if you can attach to the sound of your breath now. Maybe it's more a sensation of the movement, but that's a vibrational thing. Sound is vibration, so it doesn't need to be really noisy to hear things. Just gentle movement can tell you that there's something going on. And then take control of your breath with your eyes closed and begin to breathe, and maybe bringing in a soft Ujjayi breath now to listen to your breath as you control it with your eyes closed. Feeling that connection now that you've got that sensation is much stronger. With your eyes closed, you're able to draw inwards and really stop and look and listen. So let go of the breath for a second, open your eyes again. So this is where we're going to take the choice of Inhale for 4, exhale for 4, pause for 2 and then continue, or inhale for 4 and exhale for 6. So eyes open, take control of the breath this time with the eyes open. Inhale for 4 and decide whether you're going to go for a count of 6 or pause on the exhale for 2. Keeping the eyes open, watch how often they want to close. Just being aware of the breath, you're now in control of it, so there is already an attachment, a connection. But with your eyes open, just see if you can look and listen at what's happening. And then on your next, after your next exhale, close the eyes gently and just continue with that breath practice. So inhale for 4, exhale for 6, or exhale for 4 and pause for 2. And then keeping your eyes closed, let go of the control of the breath. And just watch and listen to it now as it returns to its own rhythm. Maybe it's a little different after you've controlled it from when it was before. Taking the time to look and listen and stop what you're doing and breathe. Gives you that space from things around you, space from things inside your head. Just taking a moment or two throughout the day to stop and look and listen to your breath. And it's much easier with your eyes closed, you probably found. Then open your eyes. And we're going to change our position now. So come down onto your bottom and into Dandasana. So find your posture in Dandasana, find your sit bones, have a little jiggle about until you feel square in the sit bones and comfortable. And long legs, but not locked knees. Feet, draw them towards you slightly so that you just switch the legs on a little bit to hold you up here as a counterbalance. Draw your tummies in, draw your heart slightly forward and your shoulders back, and draw up through your crown, tucking your chin slightly. And then eyes open, with the face forward for this one. Eyes open. Take some rolls of the eyes. So don't go too quickly, but just move your eyes around from side to side and up and down. So not really stopping at each point at this point, just doing a little circle in one direction and then the other direction. So those muscles that we did them last week, I think we have done them recently. But quite important to exercise the eyes, and we don't think of that. And then stop, center, focusing straight forward, and then look up towards your eyebrows. And just stop there for a moment and see what you can see. And then move your eyes to the left. And again, stop. See what you can see. I can see the side of my nose by my right eye. It's obviously too big to look round. So see what you can see looking to the left. And then look down. So down to the tip of your nose. See how far you can see and how near you can see looking that way. You might can see the tip of your nose. You might also can look right down to your fingertips underneath. And then look over to your right, sorry. See again what you can see. Still got that nose in the way here in my case. And then bring the eyes back to center. And then squeeze your eyes shut. So don't force them too far, but just give your eyes a nice squeeze tightly shut. Notice what's happening in there behind your eyelids. And then gently let them open, very gently let them release And then open them as wide as you feel you can comfortably. And then release. So still in Dandasana, go back to your posture points and now focus on your toes and draw your toes back towards you. And really look at your feet here as we're going to take 2 or 3 breaths here. So now take control of the breath while watching your feet. Notice if there's any slight movements in there. Notice if they're starting to fall away from you. Still controlling the breath, using the inhale, exhale to concentrate as well. But watching the feet at the same time, not looking at your toes possibly. Noticing if your nail polish is chipped, for instance. Noticing I've got veins on one foot and not on the other showing for some reason. Just becoming a little bit more aware of that part of our body, and using our breath to focus. And then release, let go of the legs, let them fall the way they want to. And bring your right leg in then and come into, we're going to do Janu Sirsasana, which is head to knee pose, but we don't really want our head to go to our knees here. We want our head to go slightly forward, so I don't quite know. Well, we're taking it in an extended version here. We're not taking it in a roll down. So we've got the left leg still switched on and the right foot is in against your inner thigh here. And you're kind of in half Sukhasana in that position. Want to think of your sit bones again and make sure you've rotated to face towards the long leg. Draw the tummy in and lift up. And then hands on the floor or somewhere that you feel, either they might be a little bit behind you, they might be slightly in front of you, just as support here. Draw up through your crown on an in-breath, and on your exhale, fold forward at your hip hinge. So fold forward with a nice long body on the exhale. And when you get to where you're comfortable, stop, let go of the breath. Look at the point between your ankle and your knee on your extended leg. Look at the point in the middle there. So focus on that spot. And then inhale again, long and opening up. And then exhale, folding slightly forward again. Might be a tiny, tiny amount. But just focusing on that spot between your ankle and your knee. Inhale, exhale 2 or 3 times. You may not get any further, but just try and use the exhale to head yourself towards that. Trying not to compromise that long front body. We're not rolling down here. When you get to where you feel there's an edge, then stop there and just breathe. Really focusing on that spot in the middle of your shin. And then we're going to roll back up now. So gently from your base of your spine, start the spine using the support of your hands. Come back up to the top. Swap legs. Have a little shake out if you need to in between. So come to the other side in Janu Sirsasana. So now close your eyes before we do this side. So what we're thinking with eyes closed is of length in the front of the body, reaching up from the sit bones through the crown, rotating the shoulders and the ribs so that we've rotated towards that long leg, flexing the foot on the long leg. This is all with your eyes closed, just becoming aware of what we're doing, drawing the tummy in just to support the lower back here. And then when you're ready, inhale long, and exhale, fold gently over your right hip hinge in my case here. Coming to the point that you feel you need to stop. Listen to your body, be aware of what it's saying. You don't need to look at it to know that. Okay, so now with your eyes closed, still breathing, just breathe. With your eyes closed, visualize where that spot is on your shin, between your knee and your ankle. And then find your control of your breath again and inhale long from your sit bones to your crown and exhale and just see if you can soften a little bit more towards that spot in your mind's eye. So just stop when you're ready, wherever you find yourself, and just breathe. You can control your breath and find that little lengthen and soften thing going on if you want to use the breath here to focus a bit more. But see if you can still visualize that spot that you're heading for. A little bit more difficult. Here we sometimes do need vision when we're working with asanas. You might be finding that you're not quite sure what you're looking at here. So then in this position now, just gently open your eyes and see if roughly you are looking at the right spot. So sometimes we do need that visual connection. Okay, we're going to roll back up, sit bones first, start the sit bones, start the tailbone, start the vertebrae one by one, come back up to the top. Take the legs in front of you, bring them into Baddha Konasana feet. And then take your hands one at a time behind you, rolling the shoulders back and opening up your upper chest and collarbones. Come on, I'm on my fingertips behind me. Try and draw your elbows back towards each other and really open that chest. This is a counter pose for what we've been doing. So we're going to roll into a little bit of a back bend feeling here. So breathing in, sit down into the sit bones and start to raise out of the pelvis and lift your heart up and roll your shoulder blades together. And at the top, hold and breathe. Just take a few breaths here in this nice back bend to open the front of the body. And then release on an exhale back down to your sit bones. And then grab your block or your bolster or a blocking cushion maybe. We're going to put our heads on the block, not literally, but we are going to put our heads on the block. Everybody use a block here. And we're going to come down onto all fours and then sink back and come into child's pose. So what we're thinking here of is that third eye, the Anya chakra, the spot between your eyebrows just above the top of your nose there. We want to aim that at the brick or the cushion, whatever you're using. Bring that spot down and have a little wriggle till you find there's a connection there between third eye. Close your eyes, you might find you can find it better. And then take your arms, either elbows on the floor for support. If you feel you're supported enough with your head and your neck feels strong enough, take your arms behind you so that the hands come down by the feet and let your shoulders just fall open. That's quite a lot of pressure through your head though. If you don't like it, or if you don't think it's right for you, then please keep it, I've taught this morning, keep your elbows in front for support. So here, just focus on that spot that you're leaning on the middle of your forehead, the Anya chakra. This is your intuition, your wisdom. We'll find out a bit more about that next week. So focusing on that spot, becoming very aware of that. Breathe in through both nostrils towards that spot. And then exhale from your belly. So breathing in towards the third eye through both nostrils. And then exhaling from the belly upwards. Take 2 or 3 breaths more, just focusing in that rhythmic pattern that we've started. And then we're going to come up from here carefully. So bring your hands forward again if they're not. Lift your head by tucking your chin. Come up to all fours. Get rid of the brick out the way. We might need it again in a minute for a balance pose, but keep it nearby in case. So coming up into all fours. We're going to take a cat-cow, but we're going to stop in cat and just breathe in cat. So when you're ready, inhaling in neutral, take one cat-cow, so inhale, exhale into cat. Inhale into cow when you're ready. If you're not in the same breath as me, don't worry, just take your own time. On the next exhale, as you move into cat, we're going to hold in cat, which is quite strange for us. So just breathe here. And now open your eyes and look backwards at yourself. Quite an introverted visual thing, this. But you're looking at the outside of you here, obviously, not the inside. So notice what's happening. Are your knees and feet in alignment? Is your tummy drawn up? Have you got your trousers on the right way out? And then close your eyes. And you probably can still see the same picture in your mind's eye. But with your eyes closed and looking backwards towards your legs, now take your vision towards your hands. So in your mind's eye, move your awareness to your hands. And gently press into the knuckles and the heels of the hands to just lift a little bit higher through your cat back. And hold and breathe. A couple of breaths here, really focusing on the hands with your eyes closed. So this way, we're not looking at the outside of us, we're feeling from the inside. Much more connected, much more us. You can feel the self here. You couldn't really, well, I couldn't feel the self looking at my legs quite so much. Okay, so then roll out gently back into neutral spine. Have a little circle of the hips there, a little wiggle through the spine just to release off the tension and the holding. And then we're going to come up to a soft down dog from here. So tuck the toes and lift the knees gently off the floor. Lift the bottom up towards that back corner, pushing gently through the hands. You can look at them now as they make this support for this pose. And then once you come into your soft down dog, move your attention from your hands, let your head roll down and look back towards your feet. And then start to walk the dog and just watch your feet as they roll through from one foot to the other. Noticing, in my case, the wrinkles coming on the front of my ankle as I flex them. The toes moving. The skin moving, my legs starting to move as well. But the focus really on the feet here. And then close your eyes if you're comfortable. Still focusing on the feet as you walk the dog. So that awareness moving now much more internally. You can feel your heel coming down. You can sense when the floor is just about to touch your foot. You can feel the air on the sole of your foot. You can feel every individual toe moving and rolling with you. And then stop, open your eyes, look along the floor, look back towards your hands. And then carefully walk your feet towards your hands till you come into a soft forward fold. And then we're going to take a roll up here, but with eyes open. So must open eyes here. We've had an inversion, can be a bit dizzy otherwise. So pop your hands onto your feet. And as you start to roll up, tucking tummy, tucking chin, look at your hands trailing up your legs. So you would be in an inhale here, but we might take a little bit longer than a breath. So take your time and watch, don't worry about the breath too much. Coming back up to the top, looking along the floor and up the wall at the top, rolling the shoulders back and coming into Tadasana. And then we're going to take a roll down again. Now you can have eyes open or closed here depending on how you feel. So tuck the chin, tuck the tummy, soften the knees, close the eyes if you're comfortable, but watch your balance. If you're not comfortable with that, you can half close your eyes, but just feel your way down your legs this time. Coming down to the bottom, stop for a second, and then find your inhale. Eyes open or closed, your choice. Probably more sensible open if you feel a little bit dizzy usually. So open the eyes, look along, but try and feel the fingertips trailing up your legs this time without looking at them. And then up to the top. Okay, so we're going to take eagle now. So you might want your brick as a help here. If you find in eagle doing legs, we're going to do the legs just to start. So in eagle, we're going to sit down slightly as if you were going into that chair position. So you've got a little bit of a ledge here on your thighs. Move your weight into your left foot and leg. And then draw the right leg up and squeeze the inner thighs like we do in twisted roots and cross the legs over. So here, the brick is quite handy to place your foot on just to help with balance. So if you find you're a bit wibbly, then use the brick here to pop your toes on. If you can just hold that leg there. Wrapping it round, everybody goes for the big wrap here, but look what's happening to me when I wrap. I'm twisting. You want to try and keep your hips facing forward. So if by wrapping the foot, you're twisting round at the hips, try not to do that. Try and let go of that wrap thing and just sit in eagle legs. Okay, so that's one side. We're just going to do that on the other. So uncross the legs, come into your right leg. Same thing. So you might want a brick either side if you're going to use your bricks. So sit down, find that tabletop ledge thing, squeeze the inner thighs, cross the legs. Try not to twist, try to keep the hips square to the front. And breathe. So we've done the legs. Did you have to look at them as you did it? Probably not. So you're very aware with eyes open, even what's happening in the rest of your body. Proprioception, obviously. And do the legs. We do know that. We have worked on that in classes, but quite good to be aware of that our body just does things when we don't need to look at it. Okay, so we're going to take that full eagle now, but let's just warm up our shoulders quickly before we do that. So looking at your right hand, we're going to take front crawl and watch that hand as the shoulder comes round in a big circle. So take a few front crawls with the right hand forward, just opening up your shoulders. But try and watch your fingers as they go in that circle. Try and take it slowly. Watch where they maybe disappear out your vision or go into your peripheral vision at the back. And then take one with the other arm. Same thing. Watching the fingers coming round. And then take a couple of back strokes, same thing. So turn to the right side, watch the hand go up and round backwards this time. You can pop in a little bit of a twist here if you want to, with the body as well as the arm moving round. But do be aware of knees, and then take the other side with back stroke. And now that your shoulders should hopefully be nice and warmed up, we're going to go back into full eagle. So when you're ready, move into the left foot. Have your brick there if you need it. Pop the legs into eagle pose position first. Take the arms out and open out at shoulder height. We're crossing our right elbow under our left here and turning the hands then so that you just clasp a hold of the mound of your thumb roughly of your left hand with your right fingers. So if I come forward just so that I'm showing everybody, it's that sort of position at the front. If anybody's a bit unaware of that one. So now that you're in eagle on this side, we're going to really look at our hands. So bring your focus to really right in front of you at your hands and breathe. So inhale, exhale. See if you can then lift your elbows. Whoops, I'm wobbly this morning. Lift your elbows just a little bit higher to sort of shoulder height. So your vision will have changed. It's not at your fingertips now, it's probably further down your arms or hand. And then if you're comfortable here doing this, see if you can do little circles with your elbows. Keeping your focus on the hand. I'm going to have to use a brick. I'm wobbling too much this morning. Some days it goes and some days it works and some days it doesn't. Okay, so those of you that have been playing with the circle, it's much easier with the brick, by the way, if nobody's using the brick. And then let go of the arms, stretch them out, uncross the legs, and come back to standing. Take the other side, same approach. So without all that, I'm putting the brick there this time. I'm not going to go for the ego thing of keeping my legs off the floor. Okay, so sitting down, finding a tabletop, squeezing the inner thighs, bringing that foot down to wherever you want it to be. On my case, the brick. Make sure your hips are facing forwards. So never be ashamed of what your body's doing. Some days you've got balance, other days you haven't. That's the way it goes. You've just got to listen to it and work with it. Okay, so take the arms out now. And it's left elbow under right this time. Be aware if that's slightly different. My connection is much different on this side. So here in the eagle, thinking of tucking that tummy to support the lower back before we move on. Looking at the hands and then lifting the elbows so that your vision moves a little bit further down. And hold and breathe, or take the little circles if you can. So just tiny little circles with the elbows in one direction. Keeping that vision close to you. And then the other way. So as we move, much more difficult to keep that balance thing because our drishti, our point of focus, is moving, it's mobile. So if any of you are doing this, full eagle, probably Peggy, well done, I'm sure you are. Not for me this morning. Then come to a standstill, let go of the elbows, have a big stretch out, undo the legs, come back down to Tadasana. Have a few shoulder rolls there, just to release out. Little shake and move if you need to. So we'll take one last move before we finish. We're going to finish standing today, but pop our hands to Anjali Mudra, which is where we will finish in a second. Just before we do, tuck the chin, find your engagement with your posture points. First of all, feet, tummy, heart, chin, crown, and then tuck the chin and roll down to look down at your middle finger. And then watching the hands, inhale, take the hands up in front of your nose, watching them move, following them closely, take them up above you, and then let them move backwards out of your peripheral vision into a little bit of a back bend. And then exhale, if you've not lost the breath already, probably took a little bit long there, exhale them back down. So take two more, breathing in as you watch them moving up and disappearing into that little back bend, feel it? And then exhaling, watch them come back into your vision. Follow them back down to heart center, tip your head to look at them. Take one more. Really looking upwards, and you might can go a little bit further with the back bend each time. And bring them back down to heart center, rest them there. Keep the head down, looking downwards at them. Finish our class here today. Just thinking of the fact that we need to take time to stop and look and listen to the world surrounding you, and especially to the world within you. And you'll feel much better and more in control when you do. Thank you everybody for your practice this week, as always. Have a lovely weekend. May the light in me always greet the light in you. Namaste.